Hello. So today is endurance ride. If I can keep it at pace, maybe I'll do a few short efforts. But I have the big loop selected. I'm gonna go up and over the mountain through the new Mayan jungle ruins. I think through the volcano and back to the start. So, this morning was pretty special. It was the first time this year that I've seen snow outside the window here in Seattle. I wasn't expecting it. So, it was a light dusting in the grass. And I was thinking it was going to melt in the next hour or so. And it started to snow, and it came down heavier and heavier. I don't think any of it has stuck. It's sunny here in Watopia. So I've got the kicker anchored, and it's moving a little bit, so I just want to tap. It's nice and bright on camera. So when I was doing sprints last, I must have taken the tape off of the floor. I've got a little bit of play on the kicker. It moves forward and backwards. So it's probably true of all trainers. You know, you're throwing the bike around indoors, so you're going to get some movement. So with the kicker, I ended up taping a pencil, or I think it was an eyeliner, to the floor, and the kicker just butts right up against it. And there's a third leg on the trainer as well. There's two pencils on either side. The leg doesn't swing side to side during the sprint. I'm running out of my gels. I need to make another order. I do have a bowl of Halloween candy if they start to run out. And Katie, for some reason, has this next to the bike. I think it's just something she dropped off from work. Katie, you're gonna have to explain yourself. Are you using this in races? So that must be Katie's sprint secret. Ken's ranch dressing. I'll need to have that pop up as one of the... I want to get my ranch sponsorship money. So look how pretty this is. Outside, my window is wet, snowy. I think it's 35 degrees, just above freezing. And I've got a skin suit on. I am happy to be here indoors instead. Actually, I moved to Seattle from Florida, and I thought that if I were to get into racing, I would have the benefit because I could go out and train in the crappy weather. I was like, there's no way anyone else is out there. And now, poor weather, everyone can come inside and train, race. It's pretty easy to get lost in this view. And if I want to, I could sprint to the next street light. And I'm indoors on a trainer. Like, here's my kitchen, here's my living room, and I have carrots in front of me to catch and chase. I don't think I've ever been, before Zwift, indoors on a trainer with a smile on my face. So I can see the castle up ahead. We're gonna pass through the trees, through the village, and past those castle gates. It gets cold, it gets snowy. It feels like it gets colder inside. You know, mentally, I'm there. Here we go. A wave to everybody.
Right on.
So I did Brasstown Bald in Georgia, and it is so steep that passing other people takes forever, because you're doing 3 miles an hour, it seems. And it was hard for me to kind of pass people. I'd come up next to them, say, "Oh my gosh, like I am dying. I'm gonna draft behind you." And I'd fall back, draft, catch my breath. There's no draft, and wish them on their way and catch up to the next person. I think that's because that I was trying, putting out as much power as I could. And I didn't want to catch up to someone who was sitting up. And just barely go by, struggling. So I'd slow down, catch my breath, and then pick the pace back up. Now, if I had multiple screens, I could have Zwift open and not miss fusion power-ups, and I'd be able to say hi. So, ride plan for today is endurance. I'm gonna go up and over the mountain pass. I think I skipped the radio tower. I'm gonna go down to the new Mayan jungle. Do the ruin loop. And then through the volcano. And I think that's a 26-mile loop. It's one of the new courses. See how I look. Gotta make sure that stream is running. Gotta have fans. Every time I've bought a fan, my FTP has gone up. So originally I did my FTP test with this. And Katie held the blow dryer on cool mode. This is a sufferfest. More fans, more power. Gotta have them all on high. I tried the other day. I had it on medium. And my heart rate was through the roof. And normally I ride with them on high. I was trying to get the mic not to pick up as much fan noise. I have done an FTP test with no fans. There was a heater in the room, making sure the room stayed up to 75. And just the hot air blowing on me was comfortable. So, the Tron bike, let me get in game real quick. There's challenges in game. And you have to get to the height of Everest to complete the challenge. And I thought I would get the Tron bike at the top of Everest. But the challenge keeps going. And you have to do another 130,000 feet. So I would get on and just do mountain repeats.
Right on!
So, we got Zwift at the beginning of January, and I only recently unlocked the Tron bike. Those months and months of work. So it's a lot of work for a bike that's a little bit faster. You know, if you do the same exact power output over like a 16-minute course, it's a couple seconds faster. And that's it. It's the fear that you put into opponents by showing up on the Tron bike that's worth doing it. Oh yeah. So if you actually switch between colors, you can get like a multicolored Tron bike. So this is halfway between blue and purple, and you can see it's got both of the colors on the bike. So I didn't know until I unlocked it. The bike actually lights up as you pedal. So for Halloween, I made sure to change the wheels to a glowing orange. It's nice to be able to have a bike that you can redecorate. So she'll get it soon. Just gotta take A lot of trips up and down the mountain. So I love how the weather changes as you go up the mountain pass. You know, I've played the Uncharted series, and that has a lot of dynamic events based on what the character is doing, and having this specific area change weather. I love it. I wish they would do some more of that. So, I used to spend 20-25 hours a week outside in the winter. I think I was outside last week just for a group ride, but I don't know when the next time I'm gonna go outside is. You know, right now, it's snowing. But even when it was sunny, I was in here. I switched entirely to being indoors to get ready for races outdoors. So I do race for a team, but not pro. Well, we get a lot of stuff paid for. Races, bike, hotel and housing. But personally, you know, us as racers still put a lot of money into it at this level. And it's because it's something we enjoy. So I did know a pro cyclist, and he still had a job, and this was back in Florida. He was a roofer, so he'd be on the roof in the heat all day, and then spend hours and hours on the bike. So what's nice with cycling is you can be at so many different levels and enjoy it. So you can go and do an adventure ride and not take it as a race, to where football and baseball, you are playing a set game, to where being on a bike has so much freedom. You know, if I want to get away from this, I can go explore. You know, I can go, like I'm here in Seattle. One of the routes that I love to do is Lake Washington. I think it's a 3-hour loop. And there's so many different ways that I can take it. know, if I don't want to go around the lake loop, I can go north and just, I don't know, not even bring, like, a cycling computer, just putz around and then enjoy back roads. Or I could have my wife show up to the bottom of a hill climb. I can give her my bottles, and I can race up them. So where are you now? You were in Portland? Utah, nice. How is it out there? So do you ski or snowboard? So we moved here from Florida and got into snowboarding right away. And the snow on this side is pretty wet and heavy. I think they call it the Pacific Northwest cement. So we went snowboarding once on the other side of the mountains at Mission Ridge. Completely different experience. You know, we were doing black diamonds and falling on our butts because the snow was so light and fluffy. It was moving out of the way instead of kind of compressing underneath us and allowing us to turn with it. I think if I were to come out to Utah, I would have a day of relearning how to snowboard. So do you have a season's pass to a mountain out there already? How often are you up there? So we get advertisements to ski out in Utah here. Awesome, awesome. So this year, we did not get a pass, but the years past, I was going up every other day. So that is a good amount of snowboarding. So, how are you in the trees? You know, do you explore? Do you hit the terrain park? There's one thing that I was a bit afraid to do. Was be in the terrain park. Trees though, oh, love going through the trees. So when I moved here, I was going up at like 9 a.m. when they opened, started running the chairlifts, and I would be there until like 3 or 4 p.m. And I would go until about then, because I'd go back to downtown Seattle, and I'd pick up my wife and I'd take her back for nightboarding. You know, I'd try and spend as much time up there as I could. And I'd take off the next day because of how sore I'd be. You know, I treated each day like a learning experience. I picked 2 things that I struggled with, and that was the focus for that day. And my rule was, if it's a powder day, you know, I don't have to focus on anything. But it really turned into, I'm gonna learn how to ride in powder day instead. Yeah, for me, I would try and chip away little by little at new parts of the mountain. Try and find new terrain, and I'd typically be on my own up there, and I knew, you know, not to venture too far away, not to get lost. So I'd find other people if they were adventuring out somewhere new, and I'd ask if I could tag along. And typically we'd just get lost together. So I'm coming up on the new roads up ahead. Hopefully it takes me on the left turn. The other course, it would continue me up the mountain, and I'd have to manually go back. Maybe that was me just selecting the wrong turn beforehand. I'd only ever notice it after I passed the intersection though. Every time I go down the mountain, I want to tuck a little bit, get arrow. Oh, I feel it. I feel the hills. So the new section's coming up. I can see it on the mini map, and they did such a good job with it. You get to pass through this little. I'm from Florida. I don't know mountain terms. There's a valley, little alpine meadow. Yeah, they put in so much variety visually, and some new animals too. Valley. So here we have this alpine meadow, and it starts to get you squeeze between the mountain, and it's going to open up into these ruins. So my mom was telling me that she wanted to get back into cycling, and she bought a bike 8 years ago, and it's been sitting for 7.5 years. And when she was telling me earlier this year, I said, don't go outside. You have to see what I'm doing. You know, for her in Florida, she would have to put the bike in the car and take it down to Flatwoods, which is a 7-mile loop, and ride in the heat. I think they had like snakes and turkeys, boar, and loop for 30 minutes, put the bike back in the car, and drive home. And I was telling her, like, I am riding through mountain passes indoors on my bike, and with the trainer that I have, I am, I can feel the hills. I can feel as it starts to go up and down. You know, the trainer adds resistance. So when I first started Zwift and telling people what I was doing, I was talking about the game and the numbers and being able to ride around and train. And what I missed was, this behind me. There's other people. And there's a whole community here in the game. And so, it's not riding around looking at a game. You get to hop into group rides and races, and mentally, like, you're there. There's other people around you, and maybe you're feeling good that day, and you want to push a little bit harder, or maybe it's a fast group and you're just trying to hang on, and it's that excitement of being able to get into a group, a community, the social aspect. And you can look forward to that every time you get into game. If you want to do a group ride, there's group rides every 5 minutes, it seems. Different courses and paces. And like, I went from riding outside all the time, 6 days a week, hundreds of miles a week, and all I want to do now is turn on my lights and be here. I've got food and water next to me. Like, I am just ready to go. I can clip in and I'm here. And I don't ever have to, it was snowing this morning. I have clothes to ride in the snow, but I don't have to. I don't have to be out there. I think the worry when it gets cold for me is I have clothes to be out there, but I don't have tires to keep me upright when it's icy. And I think at first I looked at Zwift as being a training tool, and now, like, it is my everyday. Like, if I'm gonna do an endurance ride, I can hop in and loop. Like, I can loop for 3 hours. I can get lost on the roads of Watopia. And I get excited about updates. Every month, they have new things coming out. This came out a week or so ago. These roads, I mean, you can see waterfalls in the distance. There's a temple coming up. You know, we get to ride through some caves. And I don't feel like I've been on the bike for 45 minutes. Like, it's, time goes by pretty quick. I used to tell people, before I knew about Zwift, don't buy a trainer. You know, it's just an excuse to put off the ride until later in the day. And, you know, we had a trainer 2 years ago. And I'd look outside and the weather would be so-so. I could ride in it, but I would put it off and I'd wait long enough until it would start to get dark. And then I'd have to ride inside. And if I was already putting it off, then riding inside and trying to do 2-3 hours and watch Netflix, when I'm already home, it was, I tend to put off riding. And now, I look forward to this community. So, normally, if you're gonna do an endurance ride indoors, and you don't have Zwift, I would just try and pedal and, you know, make the time go by. And now, with Zwift, I've got people sitting here, and if one of them starts to pick up the pace, I'm motivated to stay on that wheel. You know, I can actually feel the draft. It gets easier for me to sit behind people. And so my endurance ride turns into, well, I'm just gonna catch that guy. And then he can see, you know, I'm riding his wheel. And he'll pick up the pace. And eventually, we're sprinting each other. But it's just an endurance ride. So the other problem that I ended up having, my wife too, was, okay, I'm just doing an hour today. Just an easy ride. And at the end of the hour, I would see, okay, I'm at, you know, 15.6 miles. Let me just get to that next mile. Let me make it an even number. Let me get to 20 miles. Okay, let me get to an hour and a half. And so it's hard to get off the game. You know, it's just, let me push it a little bit further. And it's, you know, it's very much a game. You progress through levels, you unlock bikes and wheels, and there's talks that they're gonna have, instead of levels that you unlock, you'll unlock points to be able to get what you want. So like that mile, 30 experience points. And I'm already at the highest level that they allow. But I still, every ride, try and get to that next mile for the experience points that aren't adding up. So we've got a nice little group going on here. I wonder if I pick up the pace, if anyone will follow along. Yeah, Katie does it all the time. So Katie, we have to order more gel. Otherwise I'm gonna start eating the ranch that you have. We're almost out. Why do you have all this ranch here? What is that? So you weren't passing ranch out as Halloween candy, were you? So we still have 3 people behind me. It looks like you eat a lot of salad, Katie. So look at this view. They actually have, you'll see some birds fly through in a second. There we go. Oh no, that was the wallpaper. There's a butterfly. So look at this guy hanging on.
Ride on.
I'm gonna give him a ride on. So I love that. I love that you can interact with people. You give them a ride on. I can actually do it from my phone too. And they get that big thumb, drops down in their pocket. And the more you get, the bigger your pockets stick out. So this guy looks like he wants to play. No, he's trying to sit on my wheel. So as long as he is within 5 meters back, he's drafting. And I want him to come along with me. So I'll make sure to not get too far up. Oh, I think he broke. All right. So he doesn't have a heart rate monitor on. Maybe it stopped working. That view. So I'm amazed that this game runs on an iPhone. Katie walked by, she's eating ranch right now. We actually found a pretty good salad dressing recently. I think it's a Parmesan herb, and they have a Greek feta. And it's good because it's got a lot of cheese in it. This guy is still hanging on. Little kick up and over the top. And you can see he's picking up the pace. He's trying to match me. I love that. So he might be doing laps of the jungle. I'm gonna head straight towards the volcano. We'll see if he wants to follow. Oh, I don't know if I got to him in time. So I wonder if I go a little easy, if he'll catch back up. I'll wait and see. Yeah. We'll find some new people. That was fun though. I think normally I zone out and I don't see when people are hanging out. But it's nice when you can catch someone who's going your pace. I actually did, as I was getting back into cycling, I had this this goal of I was going to do 20 miles with an average speed of 20 miles an hour. And then 40 miles, and then 60, up to 100 miles at 20 miles an hour, so a 5-hour ride. And I went and did it out at the Flatwoods Park in Florida, and it's a 7-mile loop, and I didn't care if I happened to meet up with someone on the loop. As long as I just held that average, you know, I wasn't going to stop with anyone, I was just going to keep going. As long as I held that average, I was happy. If there was no one there, or if there's people there, and I did the ride, and never came across someone going my speed. And I did the math in my head. If I was going 20 miles an hour, and there was a person that started 3 minutes after I started, if they're doing 19 miles an hour on a 7-mile loop, I would never see them. It would take 6 hours. Yeah. It's hard to catch someone who's going your pace. You know, if you catch up to someone, they're going slow enough that you can catch them. And a lot of riders just go about on their own ride. Oh my goodness. I see a salad over there in the making. I'll eat in a few hours. I've got cycling candy. Looks good. So the nice thing about being in Zwift is, like, I'm home. I can eat whenever I want to. And there's definitely times outside to where I'm counting how many gels do I have left. And I keep a spare inner tube, CO2, and an emergency gel with me. And I've had to use it a few times. So here, I can just make like an emergency cup of coffee with some pasta and a bowl of ice cream. And then get back on the bike. But I love what they did here. Hi, how are ya? So you did an awesome job on that Diamondback challenge. I did it at like a nice talking pace, and I chit-chatted with Katie and Nathan, and I think Ashley was there. You went fast. That was good. I struggled on that ride. I think I normally spend like an hour or two on Zwift, and the Diamondback challenge, it was like 6 hours, 5.5. And I have like food all around me. I'm surprised on that other video that I was able to talk, because my heart rate was 190. And when I do an FTP test or a time trial, I want to sit at 187 cross-eyed. I don't know what happens. I have the fans today all on high, That day I had it on medium, just trying to get the mic not to pick up as much fan noise. Today it was snowing outside for the first time this winter here in Seattle. So I know if it starts to get warm in here, I can open a window and it's gonna get pretty chilly pretty quickly. So I'm gonna use that to my advantage on the next FTP test. So we have the bedroom window and the living room window, and we'll just circulate like freezing air. Yeah. I was gonna do an hour at those 5 watts per kilogram, and I wasn't sure if I was okay to continue. Like, I knew I could try to suffer through it on camera, but I wasn't sure if I should. So I cut it short. I normally hop on a little bit late, so it allowed me to get ready for work and not be running out the door last second like I normally do. Everything doesn't always have to be a race. So I've got a rider here behind me. Wonder if we can stick together for a little bit. Let's see. So one thing I like about Seattle is how calm everyone drives. The speed limits here on the interstate are 60 miles an hour, and people drive at like 60, 65 or under. In Florida, the speed limit was 70. And man, if you're doing 85, you gotta move over because someone's coming up behind you pretty fast. It's pretty peaceful here, I like that. You know, before we moved here, a friend of mine who used to live here as a kid said, people don't seem to be in a rush. So I think it was like the week before, I sat just under 5 watts per kilogram, 4.9, and the heart rate was like 175, 180. And to bump it up just a little bit and see 190, and to be able to talk. I have 3 big fans. They're all on high. I'm not gonna let that happen again. That was a hot day. I actually have one more fan behind me. Now it's on. I need to focus on cadence. Yeah, I don't want to get into the 70s. Try and keep it a little bit higher. So I can either shift or just pedal harder. Let's say bye to that rider. We're splitting ways. So, on the phone, on the app, you can stop the workout. On the game itself, you can bring up this menu. You press up on the keyboard, and when you're in a workout, there's a pause and start button, and I believe you can end the workout from here. You can also skip ahead or increase or decrease FTP. And I actually learned something. For the first time, I found out you can skip workout blocks. We're gonna give it a try. I was told if you press tab, you can skip. And then, I don't think I have page up and page down on this keyboard. But with page up, page down, you can actually increase and decrease FTP. Oh, I'm just trying to skip ahead here. All right. So that was my first time actually doing that. I saw a post on Facebook, and that must have been something they added recently, because I looked for that before. So I used to have to go into the phone if I wanted to skip, like, to the next training block. That makes it a lot easier. So tab on the keyboard to skip, don't hit it accidentally, and page up, page down to change the percentage of FTP. The sun is bright. Yeah, it's gonna help me a lot. So I've heard that some people didn't know that you can bring the workout menu up, and they would have to shut down Zwift and restart it. And Zwift really should have like a tutorial in-game. Something helpful. I mean, workouts are something that I use every week. And that would have been nice to know. So I actually haven't tried a group workout. So they give you like a general idea of what the workout is going to target, but I don't think you can see exactly what the workout is supposed to be. I want to know what I'm getting myself into. So I'm running low. We need to order some more. So with the group workouts, it'll be really nice to bring in like coaches into Zwift and lead these efforts and coach people through them. It's like a spin class, which I haven't tried a spin class before. So the colors on the bottom of the screen are, let me pull up Zwift real quick. It's my power graph, and so you can see like the little peak that I did. And right now, like blue-gray, I'm doing endurance recovery. The green is a little bit into tempo. And so you see if I kick, that sprint is going to show up on screen. And that was one of the newer features that they added. Because you can see this in workout mode. But they added the ability to see it free-riding too. I think they added that like a few months back. Quick little sprint to the line. I'm gonna throw my hands in the air. So, when you're in game, if you want to see the power graph, all you have to do is press G on the keyboard. And I leave it on all the time because I want to see if I've been slacking off, soft pedaling. It's just one of the hidden hotkeys. So I'm pretty excited about the tab to skip workouts. It's gonna be helpful. Oh, the other thing. So in game, if you're trying to skip the workout, or if you're trying to increase, decrease resistance, on the app, it would, if you're coming up to a turn, would ask you for like 30 seconds, which way do you want to turn? And they would take the ability away for you to choose to skip the workout. And so sometimes I would get into a sprint interval, and I'm just skipping through trying to soft pedal, and all of a sudden I'm stuck in that interval. This happened a few times. I always forget something while I'm on the bike. So I sent a message to Katie. Please bring a towel. Thank you. Magic. So I like that I have an app on the phone, and I can just tell it something, and it shows up over here. Thank you, Katie. So I'm going to do another loop up and over the mountain pass, back through the expansion, the new Mayan jungle, through the volcano and back to the start. So I'm going to try and get a nice endurance ride today. Nice, nice. So I have 4 bottles set up right now, and I still have the empty bottles, and I put them in front of the cold bottles to block them from the fan. Otherwise the ice is going to melt. I want to have a cooler over here with ice, but I don't want it to get picked up on the mic. Yeah, thanks for joining me today. It's always nice to ride around, have some company. If you ever want to join me in game, we can do some loops together. Maybe I'll try and get onto a consistent schedule. I'm supposed to be on at like 9 a.m. and I got on at like 4 p.m. See you, thank you so much. So one thing that I wish they had in-game was they tell you ETA for the top of the mountain the entire climb, so you can pace yourself a little bit better. Right now, you know, I can't see. Awesome. I can't see like average pace. I can use my Garmin and watch average that way. But I want to try and set like a personal best time up the climb and have a pace that I can follow. Have a nice trip. Where are you headed? Anywhere exciting? So you're gone for a few days. So I've got some bounce in the kicker. I have a pencil taped to the floor to keep it from moving. And I think when I was doing sprints on Halloween, I got it to move. So I need to check, see if I need to anchor it back down. So I can see the hot air balloons up ahead. They represent the overall jersey, the short king of the mountain, and the sprint jersey. And now we have an epic KOM that I have. There's a volcano climb, the jungle lap. I think it's time to add some more hot balloons in the game. We got more jerseys now. So you can see them just ahead. So all the little visual details help so much to be able to get lost in game. You know, I'm chasing people down. I'm there. I'm pretty thankful to be able to ride indoors. And it doesn't feel like that. It feels, you know, it feels like I'm hopping into a group ride every time. Am I back in game? I lost connection for a little bit. I know I lose connection when the riders disappear and I'm all alone in Watopia. I want to make sure everything is back up and running. I was setting a good pace up the mountain too. Let's see. Waiting on Mixer to load. Hopefully it comes back. So I think that happened once before, and if I catch it early enough, it'll pick back up on Mixer and Twitch. If I don't notice and I keep talking, it'll turn it into a new clip, a new video. And I don't want that. I gotta make sure everything's running smoothly. Katie's gonna be on tonight doing a stream. Been working on a lot of stuff, trying to get everything running smoothly. And I think the one thing is being able to listen to myself like during stream, because I want to make sure the voice volume is loud enough over the music. So when Katie gets on, she's got to talk loud. And with the fan noise, it's I think it's easy if you just talk over the fans. I noticed if I sit up, the voice gets a lot quieter. But I would sit up here and try chatting, and it cuts out quite a bit. It's been a lot of fun. Good learning experience. Playing with new software. Getting everything figured out. I need I think a USB light that's programmed to turn on if the internet cuts out. Is it hot in here? You can open a window for me. Alright, I see Mixer's back on for me. It's taking a while to load on my side. We are back. I think one of the updates to OBS allowed the stream to reconnect if you were disconnected from the internet for a while. And that's one thing that will happen on my side. I'm too busy going up the mountain, chit-chatting. How are ya? I love that guy rocking out in the corner. How are you doing today? So I want to go on that bridge. And I tried just different camera angles to see, you know, what's up there. And the cameras will, they'll clip into the buildings, and they're just hollow inside. But I keep hoping to see some Easter eggs. We've got And I want to see him hiding out inside one of the buildings. So I want to see an extension at the back side of this village to be able to loop all the way around to the new Mayan ruins. They can add it on the sign. Just keep adding new roads, new twists and turns. I mean, each extension has added quite a bit to the game. There used to be one loop, and you couldn't turn around, and that was Jarvis. And I joined when this mountain loop was already here. And you can, it's easy to get lost in the game now. There's a lot to offer. And the more they expand it, the better. But we're gonna get busy here in winter. So right now, the traffic that the game is getting is as high as it was at its peak last year in January. And we're just starting winter season. Like it was snowing this morning here in Seattle. Well, I saw snow on the ground, and I thought it snowed overnight. And then it started to rain, and I realized the rain was just falling pretty slow. It's hard to see sometimes. And the snow kept getting heavier throughout the day. So winter season is definitely upon us. It's gonna get busy here in Zwift. So you can see a little peak over here. There's actually, when you enter the castle, there's a dirt road just kind of going off to the left here. See, I want to go back there. Further around the back side of the mountain. So on the Watopia map, they have the in-game map now. They have the map in the app. There's Watopia Island, and then there's the volcano they added, and there's actually on the map an island bigger than all of Watopia, not including the mountain pass. But I'd like to see them put something creative out there. So I can't ever tell, but you can see there's a little bit of a ledge along where the balloons go. And I wonder if this is where that road leads, and if it comes back through that pass. But I can't zoom out on the map far enough to see. But I think that's where we end up. Haha. Eric, how are ya? So I'd watched the Eric stream, but you get on super early. So I pulled the kicker apart once. It looks like it's pretty easy, hopefully. What was going on with the belt? How do you know it's time to replace it? It's like 5 a.m. my time. And if I were to stay up and watch Nathan's stream, Nathan goes from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. And I think that's Central Time. Skipping. What was the price of the belts? So I should be in bed at like 10:30 to have a good start on the day, and it ends up being like 11 p.m. because I have plenty of time to ride in the morning. $80, wow. I was thinking like 20. So Wahoo must consider them like printer ink. It's just a like a standard Gates belt drive, right? A lot. I'm running low on gel. It's time to order some more. So maybe with Amazon I can get it tomorrow. So I might be out on the weekend. Nice. So I adjusted the belt just to see if I can make it a little bit quieter, because it was getting kind of loud. Yeah, it's time. So thankfully it's not a car, and you won't be stranded waiting on a tow truck. Because I've had that happen. Yeah. So thankfully you had some warning as it was starting to skip. So normally what I do with kind of race essential stuff, shifters, derailleurs, pedals, bars, shoes, I have like a second pair ready. So maybe I'll pick up a belt, just have it ready. So Katie is doing a Zwift fitness ride tonight. What time is it? 8:05 Pacific time. So she'll be streaming. Yeah, I'd rather do that indoors because I have that possibility outside already. And if it's gonna happen, I'd rather have it happen indoors to where, like, I'm home, I can be done. I don't want it to happen 4 hours away from home. And I'm sliding across the road and I've got to have Katie drive me to a walk-in clinic, get patched up, get the stuff back inside. Yeah, I would take racking the boys indoors on the stem over that any day. For sure. Yeah. I've never had a chain break, thankfully. You were telling me that, yeah. So Katie's not a nurse, but she's done a good job every time I've come home injured. I think the only thing that she struggles with is trying to find me using navigation on the phone. Honorary nurse, yeah. She'll make the Campbell noodle soup for me. Blue Apron. So Thea had a post about people's indoor Zwift setups, and the thumbnail on Facebook was Katie's bike with her pink bar tape and the 3 big fans, and I was pretty happy to see the photo I took. So I was doing sprints the other day, and I think I think the kicker is a little bit loose. I have an anchor. It's I think it's an eyeliner, or it's a pencil that I taped to the hardwood floor. And so when I sprint, the kicker doesn't go forward. And on the 3rd leg, there's 2 pencils on either side. Is when I sprint, that 3rd leg will kind of shimmy, and so now it's locked in place. And I need to check my tape. So those are the three that we have in front. I've got a blower fan on the back. And we have a portable AC unit that blows into the fans. And every time I've bought a fan, my FTP has gone up. You can watch GCN, and they have a dinky little fan. And they have a big towel across their handlebars, and they're just riding at an easy pace, and they're bright red and they're sweating. And they just need some fans. Like, I can do my outdoor power inside for extended periods of time because I have all these fans. You know, originally I was doing an FTP test with just that blower fan, and it pushes out 250 cubic feet of air per minute. The big fans that we have, they push out 6,000 each, so 18,000 cubic feet of air. And we suffered with this little fan. Like, I did an FTP test with the little fan, and we have a nice hair dryer, and you can set it to cool, just regular air, room temperature. And I would do the FTP test, and Katie would use the hair dryer to help out. The other thing is we had a sheet of cardboard, and we'd fan each other off. And now, like, we have our own wind tunnel set up. I have been hit in the face during an FTP test from Katie helping out. If I had a video, it would be a reenactment video. Maybe we'll make one of those one day. Just talk about the importance of fans. So the kicker, as you take that assembly apart, you got really tiny screws. And thankfully I haven't lost any yet. But with the hard plastic floors, they kind of run away. There's one, like, really tiny one, like really short one too. Maybe they're all the same size. I think there's one short one though. So I find it's pretty easy to get the jersey if no one else is here. So Katie was talking about it yesterday. We were talking about the jerseys, and she reminded me of the bug. The slowest rider up the mountain would get the jersey. And so for a few weeks, you know, she was posting to Strava, like, oh, I must be getting faster because I'm getting jerseys all the time now. And I think it was the lady's Facebook page was referring to it as the jersey of shame. And it was actually pushing them to go faster, to not be last, because they didn't want the last place jersey. Yeah, if you were last, you would get it. I think they should come back out with that. Slowest. People will push a little bit harder. Or they'll just they'll turn around right before the checkpoint. Yeah. Have fun with that. Are you riding tonight? Yeah. Yeah, let me know if that was a simple process for you. If you get an accurate calibration. That's a little early for me. Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully that fixes the bouncing I was having. I could feel every pedal stroke I was moving forward and backwards a little bit. So the kicker have those adjustable feet, and as I sprint, they loosen and they raise the kicker up, and that third leg will start to rock, like it starts to hover off of the floor. So as I push forward, I can feel it touch the ground. Thank you. So I can see on the map ahead that there's 3 people that I follow. So I wonder if they're coming at me or headed away. It might be a group ride. Let me try and figure out who that is. Nice. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna see if I can catch up to that PTZ group ride up ahead. So with the new extension back there, I need to do the off-road trick and try and get inside the mountain as far as I can. I want to see what's in there. There's nothing in there yet. They can't have programmed something. You know, the update will come and they'll reface the whole entrance. Maybe make a tunnel through the mountain? We'll see. So I have another rider up ahead. Ah. Seattle rider. I've actually seen this guy on the East Lake Sammamish Trail before, between Marymore and Redmond. I'll make sure to wave as I go by. So I'm gonna see if I can catch up to him. I know he's, you see from the avatar, he's a heavier rider. He's only doing like 2 watts per kilogram. But he is getting further and further away from me right now. This is gonna be fun to race on, because I'm gonna have troubles getting away. That's pretty significant. It's like 3% downhill, 4%. And I'm putting out double the power, and he's still at the same 15 seconds away. Here we go, here we go. So I haven't done a group ride or a race here yet. I want to see it though. So this tells me I need to sit in. Sit in with the group, draft, and then push on that uphill. I think the problem is going to be, we go downhill for half of this loop, 2.5 miles, 2.4 miles into the finish. And so I am going to get pulled back. So I think this course is designed to make me suffer. Because I look at the profile and I would think, okay, cool, I'm going to push as hard as I can up that 3-4% incline. But he's doing half the power and staying away on the downhill. So I'm gonna need to use other riders, play it smart. So I love seeing people in game that I know from outside. It's taken over. I think I'm watching the sunset right now. At night, we get fireflies. It's a nice touch. I love it. I love it. The inside of the caves below. You can see the ski resort just on the top of the mountain. So we used to have Scotty the Squirrel running across the road in-game. And I think here we should have a, like an armadillo. Have some creatures. I've seen a few in Florida. I gotta make sure I keep my cadence up. I want to sit between like 85, 95. And if I'm doing an endurance ride, I'll tend to pedal a little slower, a little softer. I need to program the Garmin to beep at me, tell me pedal faster, pedal harder. So even in the woods, you get to peek between the trees. You get to see the volcano, the temples, the mountain pass. You know, the moon shines through and highlights different things to look at. And then, of course, we have the The Indiana Jones rope bridge. You gotta follow the wheels and then sprint up and over the little kicker at the top. Get a breakaway. And then get caught on the downhill just before the finish. It's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna try it. So with the weather that we have here in Seattle, I hope a lot more people get on Zwift. You know, at first, I wanted to keep it to myself, but try Twitch and let me know if that's working for you. So I wanted to keep Zwift to myself as a training tool, but man, it is hard to not talk about how incredible this is. The community that we have here. So let me check real quick and see if I'm jumping frames. So it said I dropped a lot before, but I think that was because I lost internet. Easy. I keep checking to make sure everything's running smoothly. So I just checked and it looks like he is hosting me. Thank you, Nathan, for the host. Katie, get on it. You got to be part of the Twitch community. You have an email to verify, don't you? So when I first got on to for streaming, Zeus kinda helped immensely. Like I was trying to figure out OBS, which is what she recommended, and then she said, okay, Restream.io, you need to get on Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, it'll do everything for you. And I hopped in stream, Nathan showed up, and like I don't know anything about Mixer, Twitch, and he was running me through the different settings. Oh, you gotta list it as Zwift, you gotta say you're in the fitness group, and like I really appreciate that. Zwift has been like more than just getting on the bike and trying to ride for a certain amount of time. Like it doesn't feel like I've been on the bike for 2.5 hours. Zwift has been a community. You can Like, just for riding, you can hop on Zwift anytime and look forward to a group ride. Like, for me, I would always look forward to that weekend race, the local group ride. And you can have that experience every time you get in Zwift. And if you want a group ride, you can do that. If you want to just free ride and adventure, like today, I'm up and over the mountain pass, through the jungle ruins, through the volcano, and I'm trying to do a nice endurance ride, and I'm looking forward to that next section of course. I've been riding with people. If I see that someone's around the same power, I try and ride. I've actually, today, I've passed a few people that I know from outside here in Seattle. It's a great community, and it's going to keep on growing. And I feel like I'm kicking myself for only finding out about it this year in January, because it's been out for a couple years. But I can go on a group ride outside, and people know about it now. But with the snow that we have outside today, we're gonna have a lot more people in here. Good job, Katie. So you gotta set up your PC with all the stream links, the stream bookmarks. So Katie is going to be streaming, she'll be streaming in like 2 hours. And it was as simple as just opening up the OBS, the stream software. But I keep finding more things to add into stream. We got chat going, YouTube, Mixer, Twitch. I've got my Power Peanut. I've got my active wallpaper display. Hopefully, we've got some rockin' tunes, and it's a long checklist of things to make sure that are running. So I did a race, I think it was yesterday, day before, I took off yesterday, and normally I hop into races last minute, and now I've got my checklist. I set up the lights, I'm getting the fans all situated. Katie puts them on low and I put them back on high. I've got like 23 apps to get going in the background. And I got everything going and clicked in after the start of the race. And I found out if you start your race after the start and then pair a power meter and you pair your heart rate, your trainer, on Zwift Power, it gets registered as on ZwiftPower.com, it gets registered as Zwift Power, which in the A race you'll get GQ'd. And I sent a message over to James, who runs the site, and he said it's intentional that happens. They don't want to see someone on one power meter and then switch to another. And currently the way that Zwift Power works, if they see any change, it gets marked. And and it's something that they want to iron out, but they'd rather catch any changes currently. So I just got to make sure that I hop in before the start of the race. Normally my my warm-up is the clip in the sprint start, and then I wonder why I suffer the first 10 minutes and want to drop. I just gotta hang in there. Everything normally slows down. Like if you ever do a crit race, crit races are very fast at the start. And first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's just hanging on. And then it's everyone starts to ease back. Typically a road race is the opposite. A lot of people won't warm up for a road race if it's a longer race, depending on the conditions of the day. It's the same reason that the Zwift races are fast. Try and break everybody. So if I'm doing a race, I really should get on the trainer like an hour early. Make sure everything's running on Zwift and OBS, the stream software, and get my legs spinning. I think almost every race I've done has been looking at the mobile app and seeing like, oh, there's a race in 8 minutes. I should change, I should get kitted up. I'll have time to warm up before we go over the mountains. Yeah. So, with a road race, you're normally on the road for a few hours. And so it's a long day, and people want to save some effort for the end, for the middle. To where a crit race, you might race for 45 minutes, an hour, maybe an hour and a half, but they are typically short. And so people have a lot of energy. So a crit race is typically the same length of a Zwift race. I think since people don't have to turn in Zwift, they can hammer and just go all out from the start. So the faster you get, the faster the people are that you race with. You are always going, you're always going to be with people who can hurt you. And if you're not, maybe you're sandbagging and gotta move up. Yeah. So I watched the vegan cyclist and some of the races that he does in California, and maybe like 7 people show up, and that's a small group ride. And so what happens is you just get people attacking other people. You know, it's typically 7 random people, maybe 2 are on a team, but it's pretty brutal when it's a small attendance. And I would do the same thing in Zwift. If I saw that there was 4 or 5 other people, I would try and break the group. But if there's a group of 20 or so, I don't plan to ride off the front. So the goal of breakaways is not to get yourself off the front, but to break the group up into smaller and smaller chunks. So if you have 50 people and it's just you, you know, if you can break the group in half, you just doubled your chances. And so you just want to attack hard enough to get other people to go with you to break that group up. At least that's how it works outside. You know, if you have a team with you and you get off in a breakaway and you get 1 teammate in the breakaway and there's 9 other people, that might not be good enough odds. You know, maybe if you get a smaller break or more people in the break, you know, I'd be happy, but you want to increase your chances. You know, if your sprinter's back in the group, I've had that to where I was in a race in Oregon, and we worked really hard to get this breakaway to happen. And then we just watched the front for a lap, and other teams didn't want to work. And we weren't blocking, we were just at the front. And if there's people in front of us, and if people were to attack, you know, we're gonna watch what's gonna happen. You know, we're being gatekeepers. And after a lap, we figured out who else was in that breakaway. And so we had been letting that get away for 30 minutes. And then orders came from the back. We need to bring that breakaway back in. And we rolled to the front, and the chatter of the group was, you know, watch out for this team, they're just gonna block. And we told them, like, get on, like, we're bringing it back. And we brought the breakaway close enough that we were able to launch our sprinter into the breakaway, and then we sat up. And no one in the group wanted to take advantage of it. No one else did, and yeah, we won that. So racing in Zwift is pretty different. You know, if you get one rider with a high FTP, you know, they can climb away from you. And if you get up and over the top first, you know, the mountain pass, it gets a 10-second gap, turns into a few minutes going down the backside of the mountain. Ha ha ha. I'm pretty happy to see that. Thank you, Ashley. We were just talking about Team Fearless. So I've added Christmas candy to the Halloween bowl. Who buys Christmas candy this early? We got candy cane Hershey's Kisses. We've got mint truffle Hershey's Kisses. We've got some Reese's peanut butter cup Christmas bells. Pretty good. Woo. So now that you're here, I need to act like I'm riding. Ignore the power graph that shows I've been soft pedaling and talking to Katie. It's not fair. So normally in a race, if you've got a team with a big presence, you can use that team to your advantage. So this one race that I did, the team had one rule, and it was, if you have a teammate off the front, you're gonna get to the front of the group and block. And it's a Cat 4 race a few years ago, the whole season, really. And so what I would do is I would wait until one of their teammates would attack, and I would come around, get to the front of that teammate, not my teammate, and I would pull him off the front of the group. And then all of a sudden I would have his entire team get to the front and block for me. It was too strict of a rule, but it was the one rule they had to follow, from what I heard. So Ashley, are you getting sore from the weightlifting? Did you just start up again? So you've had the that setup for a while. You know, has Casey been using it, or has it been sitting? Oh, nice, nice. So I think we need to get the same setup. Katie doesn't need to use it because she's got big arm muscles. It'd be for me. Awesome, awesome. So I've just been going to the gym with a backpack, and I take a weight every day. I'm kidding, of course. I need someone to lift them for me. So I've seen on stream, you know, for me, like, it's all legs for me. So Nathan was saying something about having all over strength, something about storing more energy in the body. So I'm gonna have to ask him what he meant. Nice, nice. So I think those came out yesterday at my grocery store. So I find during stream, you know, I get my upper body workout with the mouse. I two-hand type, so it's really a complete body workout. I normally have to lift the gels. And I've weighed these, I think they're about 70 grams. So 70 grams every 30 minutes. I'm pushing a lot of weight. So I did lift weights before. I did lift weights before, and I would focus like upper body, lower body, and I was going every other day. I think the only thing that I saw improve was leg strength. That and my knowledge of how to use gym equipment. Yeah. And how long it took to get to the gym. And what kind of people show up to the gym midweek in the morning. So Ashley, are you gonna ride the Zwift fitness ride in a little bit? Yeah, I've been working on core. You know, for the longer sessions, of steady power. I start to feel it in the low back just towards the end of like an hour and a half session, and so I work on that and I see it improve pretty quickly. And then I increase the power output and I feel it again. So I keep on chasing it. I was worried with Zwift that I would have troubles doing hill climbs. You know, I can sit here in Zwift and not use my arms, and I was worried going outside and having to throw the bike around that there wouldn't be anything there. I can still bring the groceries up in one trip. Yeah, good. So I do massage, and the clients that I see, the ones who have the most troubles are the ones who aren't active, the ones who don't do anything. Everything for them hurts. Something's going on. They need to take it easy, they think. And the people who work out, you know, they come in and say, oh, I've been feeling a little bit of tightness through here, hour and a half through a workout, and I just want a little focus through here. But it's not that they're coming in because they wake up in pain and they feel it through the day, and they're, you know, it's just something that they notice. So I feel that working out, you know, you get that circulation, that blood flow, you get the muscles to work together, and if you're inactive, you know, the body's going to try and conserve. You're going to atrophy muscles, and you start to get imbalances. You know, things trying to take over the job of another muscle, and it starts to hurt and nag. It's got to be, you got to be more active. Teach things to work together. You know, it's funny. I feel like my legs are good, but if I run down the street for a few minutes, I feel it in the shin, which tells me I don't use my shin as much on the bike as I do if I'm going to run down to the gym. I am strong specifically for cycling. I'm with you, Ashley. 70 grams. That was one reason why I was at the gym before. You know, if you're only spending time on the bike, your bones don't have that impact and they get weaker. And by doing weightlifting, it helps the cyclist, because if you crash, you're going to be less likely to break a bone. That was motivation enough for me to get into weightlifting. Yeah. Just a few more KOMs on Strava. Maybe I'll just pack on some weight, and that'll be my my load bearing. Anytime Oreo comes out with a new flavor, I'll try it. I'll share it with Katie. I have to keep moving the fans. That's some weight lift in there. We got some heavy duty fans. So I'm going to try and make sure I do the right turns. I'm gonna head back to the start. I can see Katie keeps walking by. She's getting ready to hop on the bike soon. I think her ride is at 8:05 maybe. So, hour and something. Nice. So with that kind of weight loss, you might need to check and see if you're pregnant. So Pete said he was gonna show up in Katie's stream and heckle her on. So Pete won't be on the ride to heckle you there if you want to join Katie. Yeah. That's a pretty intense story. Yeah, hopefully you can be there. I'm not sure when the last time you and Katie were able to ride together. I think it's been a little bit. Katie's crying. She said it's been too long. She might be sending you private messages right now. I think it's 8:05, maybe 8:20. Let me ask Katie. $8:05, Zwift Fitness recruits social ride. If we're at the same time, it's 8:05. Like right now for us, it's 6:48. If you're an hour different, then yeah, she'll be streaming. Yeah, it's coming up in an hour and 20 minutes. So how many days a week are you riding? Alright. Yeah. How long did it take to make the awesome costume? So with all that time and effort, I imagine it's going to be something you're going to wear every time you stream now? Because Katie really liked it. You gotta get those viewers. Like, what the heck is going on here? I've seen a few people stream, they're just playing games. Zwift isn't a game, of course. Playing games in costumes. And, it looks like you're gonna have to make, what, version 3 or 4? Nice, nice. So, Casey must not be watching the stream then. We are live on Twitch, YouTube, and Mixer. Yeah. So I think you need to make a costume, same costume, for Casey, and just set him in front of the camera. See what you can get out of him. I think that would blow up on Twitch and Mixer. You could start selling novelty Casey branded mustaches. I would watch that. So I love watching artisan videos. People making things, people doing what they love. And if you were to set up a stream of just you sewing, like I would want to watch things get made. You know, it's very exciting to watch you know, something come from nothing out of someone's hands. There's a YouTube channel of artisan videos in Japan, and there's a lot of stuff that they still hand make. Paper and tea kettles, wooden dolls, kimonos, things that, you know, can easily be mass-produced, but there's a history of doing it, and they continue that tradition. So you can focus more on doing what you love and just have the camera set up. And if you walk away and come back, you know, it's fine. Focus on what you're doing. And you can put it on a second channel if you worry about it. But just have something running and people will want to watch that. Yeah. So would that be having someone watch you type and then correct spelling and then type and then delete a word and type? You mean not live streaming? That makes a lot more sense. That would be an interesting stream. You would, you'd probably be able to hear people banging their heads on the keyboard through your camera. So I'm gonna cross the start finish and switch out the bike. Katie's gonna get on. She's gonna do the Team Zwift Fitness Recruit Social Ride at 8:05 Pacific time, which is about an hour from now. Why isn't the draft perfect? You're spelling that wrong. You see all the red squiggles? That would be an interesting live stream. So, I do have to apologize. I was talking with Katie. She asked me, do you know what it means to chat someone up? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. And I was like, let me Google it in front of her so I can be smug about it. And I smirked and I was reading the definition, and it's let me pull it up real quick. I learned something. It is it's a way to talk someone up when you're sexually attracted to them. So I do apologize because I ended a previous stream. Thank you guys for chatting me up. Thank you, Katie, for correcting me. I can't believe 3 hours has gone by. I'm indoors. I'm here in my sunny environment. It was snowing outside earlier. It was about 35 degrees, and I'm comfortable. It's 70 degrees here. It's nice and sunny. It's sunny here in Wachovia, and I saw some people in game that I know from outside. I've seen them on the trail. I've seen them when I was going for KLMs on hill climbs. Now I shout at them if I see them outside. Like, I see you on Zwift. You're so and so. I've met people in game that I now know outside. I'll pass them on the trail and know people from Zwift now in real life here. And it's been an incredible community. Kitty's hopping on a little bit. Thank you so much for joining me. I am going to try my new hotkey. Hope to see you around Wachovia. Thank you so much. Hotkey doesn't work, I'm going to do it manually. That's a lot of fun. It's supposed to be Shift Control Q. I get to say goodbye. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. See you around.